Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Telecom Dog, where we're all about the travel, tech, and talk. Why am I homeschooling in the Philippines? Over the years, I've met quite a few intelligent and well-educated Filipinos, so I know the schooling system is excellent. The last 3 or 4 of my doctors in the United States were Filipinos. So they have strong science programs here, strong math programs. They're very well-educated people. I finally moved to the Philippines, and now I'm homeschooling my own kid. Why? I think we all know, despite the fact that they have a great educational system here, the COVID-19 infection here, the results are the same as they are all over the world. People are being forced to either not have school for the year, or go to a system of homeschooling, or even an online system. Personally, I have about 7 years of experience teaching in a school system. 3 college level and about 4 or 5 at the junior high to high school level. I've also got about 30 years in the technical field, computers and telecommunications. Telecommunications being phone systems and how phone systems work together with computers. That doesn't sound like so much now, but 25, 30 years ago when I started, it was science fiction stuff. Nobody even imagined being able to have a phone call and see the person that you were talking to. Nowadays, that's common. So if you're 30 or 40, you have no idea what it was like 45, 50 years ago before you could see who you were talking to. Anyway, that's where my technical abilities lie. So I'm feeling pretty strong that I can pull out this homeschooling thing. What I can tell you from the past is installing a system into a school that will enable the whole school to go online is quite complicated, and it takes quite a long time. And there's what we call a learning curve to get everything right. The learning curve affects the administrators, the teachers, and the students. It's the administrators, the people who buy it. They have to buy the right system. Sometimes they make a mistake and they have to buy additional parts to the system to get it in and running the way you want it. They're the teachers who have to learn how to use it and have to learn how to use it well. The better they are at using it, the more effective they become, the quicker they can do their homework, or the quicker they can do their work and assignments, and the more comfortable they are with assigning more complex things to their students, making their experience a better one. And then there are the students. They have to learn how to use it as well, including things like find help when they don't understand how to work the machine, or they don't even understand the homework itself. So there is a learning curve for all involved, administrators, teachers, and students. The other half of the cake is the infrastructure, what it takes to do all this. This is not going to be one of those videos where we do a bunch of technical talking head type thing. I'm just going to break it down and make it very short and brief and say this. You need 3 parts to this. You need a nice internet set up at home. Do you have enough internet for everybody in your family to use the internet, and then for your child to be able to log on, go online and do their schoolwork? Does your school have enough internet capabilities to be able to service all the students? Maybe before they had a computer lab and 30 or 40 kids would run in at a time and use the computers, and that was sufficient. But with an online schooling program, that's going to be hundreds or thousands of people logging onto and using that system. So they're definitely going to have to do some upgrading. There's a way around that. They can hire someone to host the material and host the network to put their stuff online for them. But of course, that's going to come at an extra cost, and they will pass that extra cost on to you. And not to mention, the learning curves are still the same for the administrators, for the teachers, for the students. So all in all, going online is a complicated thing. I know that the Filipinos are very intelligent people, and they will figure this out and they'll do a great job at it. It's just going to take a little time, maybe a year or 2 to get all this installed and teach us up to speed in the whole process the way it should. So I know there are going to be a few problems, as they are everywhere. In all the systems I installed, there were problems. The system went online, and that first week, month, 90 days was heck almost all the time. And so I expect the same to happen here. I think that I can manage all the problems, the technical problems that will evolve, and keep the stress off of my daughter, who is 9 years old, going to be 10 shortly, and going to the 4th grade. I can make it such that she only has to worry about the school, the paperwork, the schooling, and I can keep most of the other things running and have alternative plans when things fall or don't work as they should. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe. That's the way you can help us make more videos and grow this channel into a larger YouTube channel. As far as the government saying they don't want to have school until a vaccine has been found, or they want to limit the amount of traffic, I agree 100%. That's going to be the only way that they can start to control the infection rate. I'm sure we'll get back to normal, or even the new normal, which will probably be better. I want to talk about independent schoolers versus dependent or affiliated schoolers. I personally am going to try the independent schooling method. But first, let me discuss the dependent or affiliated method. When you are a homeschooler, you are responsible for teaching the child, getting the correct curriculum, lessons, subjects, and the flow of that, along with keeping the correct paperwork. Because I will be an independent schooler or independent homeschooler, I will be responsible for all of that. That's not a problem for me because, like I said, I have quite a few years teaching experience. I know what records need to be kept. On the other end of the spectrum is the dependent homeschooler or the affiliated. That's someone who contracts with, who signs up with a homeschooling institute. It's a business, it's a group of people who, for a fee, will let you know when to take the quarterly exams, help you keep the right paperwork, and because they are accredited, they should make going back to a public school or private school more easy should you decide to do that. An example, let's say you have a kid and they're in the 4th grade and you educate them for the entire year of the 4th grade, and now it's time for them to go to the 5th grade, and you decide that you want to put them back in the public or private school that is accredited by the DepEd, Department of Education of the Philippines. When you take your child to that school, there is a chance that the school will ask to see their records from past, and they will probably want to administer a test to make sure that your child is qualified up to able to do 5th grade work. The chances of them requiring a test, 50-50. If you are an independent schooler, such as I'm going to be, they're going to ask for the same paperwork. They may or may not accept that paperwork. They may ask that your child take a test to prove that they are in the 5th grade. So on both sides, there's a chance that they're going to have to take a test. If you are an independent homeschooler, there's a chance that they will ask your child to take the official government test known as the Philippine Educational Placement Test, PEPT. They take that, your child will be evaluated if they're doing 5th grade level work, then they're allowed to go to the 5th grade. So it looks like either way, your child's probably going to have to take a test after homeschooling, and so I don't see that much difference between the independent homeschooler and the dependent or affiliated one. And I also might mention, if you go with the dependent or affiliated school, they charge you a fee for the guidance, for helping you figure out which paperwork to fill out, which test to take, and when. But the education, you still have to do as a parent. But they do have arrangements with other teachers and schools that they can provide a teacher for another fee. So the affiliated method tends to be quite a bit more expensive. That's the way it is. Just a brief note on how I intend to structure the education of my daughter. I found a very nice online educational system. I will allow that to teach her the subjects. They have teachers teaching, they have automated tests, they have testing, they have attendance, automated attendance taking and things like that. I sit next to her and I ask her additional questions and watch her and make sure things go the way they should. If she doesn't understand, I provide an explanation in another way, providing more information that way. So the automated system, the online program, will take care of the curriculum for me. I've already seen the curriculum required by the Department of Education in the Philippines. I have a list of those items, and I will be educating her towards that, so that should we decide that she wants to go back to a public or private school, she's able to do that. So I will be testing for the Filipino method of education, as well as I will be testing for the American method of education, which can be found in the standardized testing that you can find online in the U.S. And of course, there's a set of testing provided with the online program that I'm going to take, or I'm going to use to assist me with the process. So there'll be lots of testing, lots of looking at the same thing from different directions. I'm absolutely sure she'll do quite well in that. In fact, she has always been in the top 2% of any class that she's in. So taking an additional test is not going to be much of a challenge at all for her. So there you have it, a brief summary of my plans to homeschool and why I think I can pull it off and why I think it's necessary. Don't forget to click on the bell-shaped icon. That way you'll be notified as soon as we put out another video. If you don't, you'll need to check our channel every time you log on to see if we have anything new. Any questions you might have or like me to entertain, I'd love to handle. Please feel free to send them to us or write them online, as well as any advice that you might have. Thanks for watching. That's another episode of Telecom Talk, where we're all about the travel, tech, and talk. See you in the next video.